All right, everybody, back with another video. It's your boy Jamie from the Comic Hunt, and this time I'm gonna change the topic a little bit, change the subject. I'm gonna talk about a different argument that happens in the comic community: the classic key versus the modern key. All right, you see it all the time, right? Especially now, the way things are. You get a new hot character, whether it be Donny Cates with Venom, you got Virus, or Black Winter with Thor, Punchline with Tinian, or any one of these new hot indies, right? Something is killing the children, and so on and so forth, right? And what do you get, right? You get a whole bunch of positive responses anytime you post it on Facebook or something like that, but then all of a sudden the trolls start coming in. They start telling you what are the main arguments, right? The biggest arguments. You got to invest in classics. Moderns are a waste of money. They're gonna be in the dollar bin in 6 months. They just wait. Invest in established characters. They'll tell you something with longevity. They want you to believe. And while it's good to do those things, right? I'm not a hater on the classic books, even though I'm more of a modern collector. I just think it's a ridiculous argument. It's longevity is not what makes a comic valuable. There's plenty of comics that are old. There's plenty of classic comics that have no value to them. So I just don't understand that at all. So I figured a bunch of other people don't, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys a little bit. So one of the first things that you need to know, right? There's a video out there on this already, so I'm not gonna go into the whole thing, but it's scarcity versus rarity, right? About a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, there was a video going around that was explaining this to everybody. So I'm not going to bore you with that here, especially when that guy did such a better job doing it. I'm just going to let you know that scarcity is when there's not enough of something, and then rarity is when there's not a lot of something, right? So those are those two things, and rarity doesn't mean that's going to be valuable. You have to have scarcity. So that's pretty much like the main factor, right? Scarcity means there's not enough. That means there's more people who want the book in this particular case, whatever the item might be, or the product, than there is product, right? There's more people who want it, and that's what drives the value up. There are things that can push it up further and further. Those things are called catalysts, right? And but again, that doesn't exclude modern books, right? Catalysts are just usually bits of information, news. It can be characters being used in the story again, and it gets them a little buzz in a new comic book. But for the most part, right, it's the catalysts are usually TV and movies, right? Sometimes in Donny Cates we trust or don't, the creators can be the catalyst, right? They get on their Twitter and they stuff like that. But it's usually the TV and the movies, right? So just for the sake of not boring you, I'm gonna switch over from this Black Cat and this Silk, right? Because we have a modern and we have a classic, and I'm gonna switch over to another one. So this is this is first Rogue, and this is first Kate Bishop, all right? So we're gonna move on, right? So once you have a catalyst, this is what their real complaint is, right? Because they say characters should be established. And their problem is that it's all happening too fast, right? It's not supposed to be like this. This is not the way I remember it. And the reason why they don't remember it this way is because it never was this way. It's because we didn't have the internet. And the internet is one of the key components right now for why these books move so quickly. You used to have to go into the comic shop, you buy your comic. Normally, you would just go in there and buy what you like, right? You didn't have any news. You didn't know anything was going on. You didn't have any big spec. You know what I'm saying? Like you just collecting your comics, and if you got lucky, you seen a new character in there, you held on to it, or something like that. You'd find it in the price guide, or maybe Wizard was giving you some news, and you'd be like, oh, I got that one, man. And you hold on to it. You're like, it's gonna be a good one. That could happen months later. You had to get the story, had to go to publication, and it was rare, very, very rare that you got real publication news like from a major newspaper, something like that, like what we got with the death of Superman and stuff like that. And you get these huge catalysts then, and then everybody goes out and gets them and stuff. But that's not a good thing. But I'm not going to get into that, right? What I'm going to talk about just about is now we have the internet, and everything happens split fast with the internet. And if you're not quick, you'll get blown by. So that's what's really the problem. I think that these people are having a hard time grasping that we live in the internet age now, and things just move quicker. So another thing that they don't understand, right, is when they originally were collecting these books that they call classics in the 70s or the 80s, they were moderns then. And then they became classics over the years. That is something that you need some time to become a classic, right? Can't become a classic right away. It's got to have some time with it. But yes, it'll become a classic over the years, just like these books now that we have, such as this Kate Bishop here. That will one day become a classic, just like the Avengers right next to it. That First Rogue is a classic now. That was not a classic when it came out, First Rogue. That was just a new character that nobody even knew about. And now everybody goes back and gets it because it's from your childhood. And the kids that are growing up now, they're going to go back and get these books. And that's when they're going to jump up. That's when they'll go into the classic range. And they'll move from that. All right. So I'm going to close it up on this last one here because this is the one that gets me the most. I'd be mad if I didn't laugh, right? How counterproductive is it to tell people not to collect comic books? First of all, if you want to get classic comic books, you want to go into a comic book store and you want to get that classic comic. I know a lot of you guys go on eBay and you get ripped off, but go into a good comic store, not a crappy comic store. Go into a good comic store, establish a relationship with these people, and you'll get good books at a good cost. And they'll think of you and they'll look out for you and they'll get these books for you. To tell people not to get these books is like it's like it's destroying the thing you love. Like how could someone claim to be part of the comic book community and they're out there telling people don't go collect new modern books, don't get modern books, the stories aren't good, they'll never retain value. Maybe we don't want value in them. Maybe the value comes from reading the book. Like some of us like to read the book, these comic book stores rely on people coming in and picking up these these books weekly. They don't make money off of you who's selling these books, because nine out of 10 times, and this is even the kicker, 9 out of 10 times, it's flippers of classic books that are talking like this, or it's people like that who make money, auctioneers and things like that on YouTube and on Instagram, and they're telling people not to do this, and they're saying, only these books should be spiking. And I'm just like, no, those books spike because they have a movie coming out, and these books spike because they have TV shows coming out, and it doesn't matter about any of those things. And to go out there and tell people not to buy comic books is ridiculous, just in itself. Forget about all this other stuff. So those are a couple of points that I wanted to make, and then I'm gonna leave you with this, guys. Right? Take this book right here. This is a classic first appearance. It's a cool book. I like it. I thought Red Wolf was going to be a big character at one point. They were bringing him back in like 2015. I said, you know what? Let me pick up this book, right? So I got this classic first appearance. Good book. You tell me. Tell me which book you want in 5 to 10 years. You want that classic book? Or do you want this right here? This Kamala Khan. It says $40 on there. I think I bought a couple of books at the same time from this guy. I think I got it for like 35, somewhere between 30 and 35, something like that. But you tell me, which book do you want? Leave that down in the comments. You tell me. You want that Red Wolf in 5 to 10 years? You want that Kamala Khan? And just so you guys don't go ahead and say, oh, well, who the hell wants Red Wolf? I'll make it a little bit better for you. There's a classic book, right? Sabretooth. Everybody needs a Sabretooth in their collection. It's one of the dopest books ever, man. I love that book. But you tell me, it's a classic book. Classic first appearance. It's a big key. It's a pretty valuable key. But in 10 to 15 years, you want that? Or do you want this? You want that modern key? That Miles Morales? Which one do you want in 10 to 15 years? I'll leave that up to you guys. Hopefully you'll drop it down in the comments. You'll let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about these books. And yeah, if you like the content, leave me a like, subscribe, and it really helps out. I appreciate y'all. Take it easy. Peace.